Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you an option in propagating your Rex Begonias because I know a lot of you like Rex Begonias and you like propagating them. So yeah, I wanted to show you something I had done and I completely forgot about, which happens a lot here because there's a lot of plants all over the place. But I wanted to show you, I took a leaf of my Rex, and as you all probably know, I love to water propagate everything or put it in lava rock. But this one was a leaf I put in Leca, and I use Leca for some things. It's not my favorite. My favorite is lava rock. I also like perlite a lot. Been using that a lot. But Leca I have, and if I'm in a crunch, I will use Leca for something if I really need it. This one in particular did pretty well. But I'm going to show you, well, first of all, I'm going to show you how well it did, and then I'm going to show you where I could have improved, because those little tips are helpful. If you're following along and you're kind of experimenting along with me, doing things similarly, it's good to know when I find things that are, not the best or could be done a little differently. It's helpful. So I took the leaf. See if I can find where the leaf is. I don't know if it's still alive. I don't think it's still here. This has been a while. I forgot about it. I took the leaf, I put it in the Leca, and I made sure that I put the stem, the petiole, on the edge, like on the side of the cup, so I'd be able to see the root formation, because that's one of the main reasons why I like to water propagate, because I like to see what's going on in case I need to act if something isn't working, or if I notice there's rot going on, I want to jump in before I lose the cutting. So with this one, I put it on the side. Now, what I should have done, it rooted, it sprouted, I have a bunch of little plantlets here, a bunch of crowns, but what I should have done is pulled out or pulled up the cutting when it started to develop little plants, because I had to put it relatively low in the Leca, because Leca does not wick as high moisture, as high as, let's say, lava rock or even perlite. It's just the way that it works. It wicks up to a certain point, but then you'll have a top layer of dry Leca, unless you have your water really high, which I don't like to do, because then the Leca floats and then there's a little reservoir of just water on the bottom. It gets messy. It disrupts the roots too much because you have the medium moving up and down. So what I should have done is, once I started getting little plantlets, after a nice root system, I should have pulled the cutting up a little bit so that these plantlets would be a little bit more out of the Leca. And I'm going to show you why I say that. Because look, actually, let me take it out of the reservoir. Let me let the water drain for a minute. I'll show you what I'm talking about, because that should be good enough. See how low those crowns are? They're really deep in the Leca, because I really wanted to make sure that the cutting was getting enough water, enough moisture. So these crowns are really low, and I should have pulled them up higher so that these roots, I'm sorry, not those roots, those leaves would have a good chance at survival being up in the air, because right now a lot of them are getting deformed. They're squeezed against the Leca and the cup. The roots go nice and far down, because when the water reservoir gets low, they're seeking out the water. But you can see they're pretty deep in there, and that was done on purpose, because I'm not a huge fan of the wicking power of Leca. It does wick, but not nearly as high as, let's say, lava rock, like I said. So that's what I should have done. I can still do it. I just don't want to interrupt what's going on, because I have a lot of great growth up here. I probably will transplant this. Maybe I'll keep it in Leca. I'm not sure yet. It's used to the Leca, so maybe I'll keep it. But I definitely have to lift the plant up at some point, just so that I don't get these leaves that are in high humidity down there to start rotting, because then it'll just spread the rot. The spores will just start to travel, and a lot more of these stems or leaves or even roots will start to rot, and I don't want that to happen. But you can see it was a success. Not that I doubted that it would work. I just prefer to use other substrates because of this situation that I had to do. But if you use a shallower container, you won't have that problem. I like to use these cups. They're, I guess they're 8-ounce cups, I think. So yeah, Rex Begonia in Leca. a little far down, and I probably will eventually pull this up soon. I recently just found this. It was behind a bunch of other plants, and when I water, I just kind of water, 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 water. I go around and water everything. It wasn't even in this space. It was a little bit on the other side of the room, under some lights. And I wasn't even paying attention to what was in there. I just saw, okay, there's something alive. Let's water it like everything else. I make sure that the reservoir is full. And here we are. So if you're going to do this kind of thing, an experiment, I recommend either using a more shallow container to start, so you don't have to put the petiole of the leaf too deep into the leca, because then this will happen. Or if you if you are using a vessel that's this deep, then once you start to get plantlets, I would gently, like you could tilt the cup to the side and then gently shimmy the plant up so that those leaves are higher, and then just raise the water level if the roots are not low enough to wick up on their own. But anyway, that's it. Since I'm here and we're talking about Rex Begonias, let's look at some of the water propagations that we have done. This is one that was just in water, and the base of the leaf sprouted a plant, as well as where the roots. Let me see if I can get rid of that glare. There you go. You can see all those little plantlets down there, and the plants up here. Now for this plant, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. So many things you could do. Again, all these are experiments, so it's not like it's going to live in this vessel forever. But I don't have to rush to figure it out, because the plant is thriving. It already is getting a very mild feed. Right now, this one in particular is getting the Aero Garden hydroponic nutrient. So, I'll probably end up putting this in an actual substrate instead of keeping it in water. Whether it's going to be perlite or lava rock. I don't think I'm going to put it in leca though, because it's not my favorite. But so that's this one, doing well, as you can see. A lot of little baby plants in there. Root system is okay. I mean, begonia roots are relatively shallow most of the time anyway, so you're not going to see anything great there. What else we got? We got another one back here. This is another one that's from another video. These are 2 leaves that we're putting here. And as you can see, pretty forgotten about. I got to really pay more attention to these experiments. I just have so many plants. But the leaves are starting to grow longer. They're getting kind of lanky to reach the light because they're all the way behind everything. But again, water propagation, doing fine. This one will also be moved to a medium. I have to figure that part out. But yeah, those are the 3 I have in this area to show you. So if you have any questions on anything that I went through in this experiment, just reach out in the comment section. I will get back to you. I always do. I love talking plants. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. Hit the bell if you want to be notified. And I will see you in the next video.